Okay, Mr. Tomac, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will you place your hand over your heart and repeat after me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, roll call will reflect that all board members and cabinet members are present either in person or electronically. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of June 23rd, 2020? By Anna Conover. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Tomac. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed?
Aye.
That carries 5-0. Approval, or is there any addenda?
We have none.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda of the meeting of July 21st, 2020? By Mr. Tomac. Is there a second?
Second.
By?
Anna Conover.
Can't see your lips move. I thought it was... Boy, all right. It's going to be an interesting night. By Anna Conover. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed? 5-0. Community staff student recognition.
A couple items real quick. We were informed that LPA Design Studios, one of our architects for new school construction, Oliphant Elementary specifically, won a merit award administered by San Diego chapter of American Society of Landscape Architects for the outdoor spaces at Oliphant Elementary School. So we have an award-winning elementary school for structural design, which is pretty cool. And also a shout out to a couple of our employees. Their names were drawn for the You've Got It Employee Recognition Program this past month. That's Amy Douglas and Jane Yoshimura. So congratulations to them.
Okay, introduction of new or recently promoted employees. Dr. Salazar?
Thank you. Is this mic on? Okay. So I would like to have Erica Flores come up, step up to the podium, please. Hi, Ms. Flores. So I'll take a minute to tell you a little bit about Ms. Flores. She is our new accounting supervisor, and she began her career with Desert Sands in 2017 as an accounting technician. Then she joined, at that time, the district from Riverside County Department of Environmental Health, where she served for 10 years. She holds a bachelor's degree in business administration with a concentration in accounting, and she will be pursuing a master's degree in organizational leadership with the University of Redlands this fall. Ms. Flores states that both her education and her work experience have prepared her to lead and serve as the accounting supervisor of fiscal services, and we are in complete agreement. And congratulations, Ms. Flores, and welcome to your new position.
Thank you so much. I just want to take a minute to thank the board, cabinet, for giving me the opportunity to serve in this role as the accounting supervisor. I'm born and raised in the Coachella Valley, and I'm a Desert Sands alumni myself. And it's a great privilege to be able to work alongside many people that at one time were my teachers, but also, fellow students that now, we've grown up together and now we serve the district. I have 3 children of my own, and 2 of which are students with Desert Sands. So I consider myself lucky to not only be an employee here, but also to be a parent with a voice vested in the interest of, the success of our district. And I'm looking forward to the personal challenge that this position will bring to me and the growth that I will be able to experience in this new role. And I'm just grateful to be able to be an additional asset to a wonderful department. So thank you very much.
Congratulations again. Thank you for being here tonight. And I had planned to introduce to you Donnell Clements. He's one of our new school psychologists, but I don't see Donnell here tonight, so I will invite him to come to our next meeting to be introduced.
We have 2 information items. We have the quarterly report on the Williams uniform complaints, which we had none, and we have the Head Start program report for May 2020. Staff conference items, none. Public hearing, there are none. The COVID-19 response update, Mr. Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith. We have a few updates this evening. I have, I believe, 3 assistant superintendents on the line that will provide updates for their divisions, but I'll start out with the biggest news likely is Governor Newsom's announcement Friday that mandates all private and public schools to open in distance learning mode this fall if they are located in a county that is on the state public health monitoring list. As Riverside County is obviously on that list, all districts in Riverside County are opening in distance learning mode. Schools and counties that have not been on the monitoring list for the prior 14 days may begin in-person instruction under public health guidelines. The governor's announcement also included the process through which schools and districts may open and close throughout the school year based on ever-changing public health conditions. The other big announcement came most recently on July 20th, and that is regarding CIF and sports. So in a nutshell, sports have been postponed until December 2020, and this applies mainly to the southern section of CIF. So basically, we've consolidated what used to be, I think, a 3-season to a 2-season concept current. At this point, I'll move over to Dr. Kelly Mae Vollmer for updates from Education Services.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Just a few updates from Educational Services. First, I want to give everyone an update on summer school graduation, which was held this past Thursday. So including those graduates that graduated during summer school, we had a total of 2,124 seniors graduate from Desert Sands schools this past school year. And I want to just give a special thank you for the great work, not only with the graduation, but also with summer school. So really thanking our Director of College and Career Readiness, Mr. Bebo, and also our summer school principal, Mr. Pimental. So they both did an outstanding job. We're really excited about what we saw in summer school. And so certainly a shout out goes out to all the teachers that worked during summer school as well, really laying the groundwork for some wonderful practices in distance learning that we can learn from and capture and pull into the next school year. And so we surveyed those teachers after summer school, captured their thoughts and ideas, and we're even incorporating a lot of what they shared with us into trainings that we'll be developing and even having some of them help us with those trainings. We also saw much greater engagement during summer school alongside of the outstanding educational opportunities that were offered by our teachers. We also ran, as we normally do, FEV tutoring options for our students. And we saw 539 students during summer school engaging in those online tutoring opportunities for a total of 3,233 hours of tutoring. So really great engagement during summer school. And so we're looking forward to what that looks like during the fall. Additionally, I want to hit on what's going on with our student information system team. They're working diligently behind the scenes. As you know, we launched district-wide online registration last year. So this will be our second year using online registration for returning students, and that will start on August 17th. And so parents will be able to update information and turn in those annual required registration documents for returning students starting on August 17th. But new this year, we also launched online registration for new students to Desert Sands, and that's going on right now. So parents that are new to Desert Sands, kinder students coming in or other grade levels can have the option to use the online enrollment portal as well. So we just added that. And then also our student information system team has been working behind the scenes. And we are hoping by the end of this week to launch a Synergy pre-registration link that will be sent via email to our families. And we'll be asking them to commit to the learning model that they would prefer once it's safe to transition out of distance learning. And so that will give us time to look at what kind of staffing needs that we'll need based on whether parents will be looking in the future to participate in distance learning, hybrid learning, independent study or homeschooling. Certainly, as Mr. Bailey mentioned, everyone's starting out in distance learning, though, in the fall. And then finally, just behind the scenes, the state is still requiring us to turn in end of the year CalPADS data. And so the team has been working hard on that. The certification date is July 31st, but they'll be certifying that data tomorrow. And that includes data on attendance, initial graduation data, students that are receiving special ed services, discipline, program participation, and career technical education data. So we appreciate that team for their work there. We also have been working hard behind the scenes to prepare for distance learning in the fall. And as I mentioned to the board at one of our recent board meetings, we ordered tablets for our TK and first grade students that can actually go home. In the spring, we did not have devices that we could send home with these young students due to our inability to provide filtered internet when they were at home, just like we do during the school day. So the new devices are actually rolling in. They're in the warehouse, and the cloud techs have been working diligently to get those ready to send out to the school sites so that they can be distributed and be ready for the new school year for those students. We also today placed an order for webcams for every teacher in Desert Sands to be used during distance learning, and also for other people that would be required to use one during distance learning. And we're looking into other technology needs that might be necessary for the fall. Also in Ed Services, we are really excited. We have been working with teachers from around the district to create professional development opportunities for the start of the school year. And we've created a robust toolkit that we continue to add to that teachers will be able to access, but we're also preparing to roll out trainings in August, and we're also creating content for the first few weeks of school that teachers can access to help them in this distance learning environment. And so we plan to communicate these professional development opportunities to teachers later this week. Our Director of Professional Development, Mr. Kent, will be sending that information out, and then in the upcoming weeks, we'll be adding specific dates and times that these trainings will be held. And then finally, Mr. Bailey mentioned this already, but we did get the update from CIF yesterday. And so as he mentioned, fall sports have been moved to the spring. They should start around December of 2020, possibly January of 2021. But the revised calendar does set the last day for the regional and state football playoffs as April 17th of 20 and 21. And the last day for all other rescheduled sports will be sometime between March 20th and April 17th. CIF is recommending that winter sports such as basketball be woven into the spring sports calendar, with playoffs ending on July 19th. And then each of the CIF sections will be releasing their own calendars to reflect regular season starting and ending dates, as well as practicing and conditioning regimens. So what we're seeing in this pushback of fall sports certainly is an attention to safety, which we appreciate, but it also is going to give our student athletes more time to prepare for this fall season. It also gives us time to prepare practice and game schedules and conditioning schedules. And we have a task force in Desert Sands that's been working, a small task force that's been working on athletics behind the scenes. So now that we have the information from CIF, we'll be enlarging that task force and working to create those schedules that I just mentioned. And then finally, we are moving forward as required by the state with our initial English language proficiency assessments in California. That's the LPAC testing. It is still required. It still does have a timeline associated with it, and it still requires face-to-face interaction between the examiner and the student taking the test. So we've been working hard with business services and certainly appreciate so much all their hard work to make sure that we have protective equipment for staff and students. And we'll be starting off slowly. Jackson will be starting on July 28th, with Roosevelt following on August 10th, and then the rest of our school sites beginning that testing once school resumes in the fall. And that's it from Educational Services.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to Mr. Aquino, Business Services.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Bailey. Just wanted to send word from Laura. I talked to her maybe about 30 minutes ago, and she sends her hellos, or hello, and is feeling great. So, or as good as you can be after that kind of a procedure. So she just wanted to say hello to the board and to all cabinet. All right, so we are continuing our effort to procure protective equipment and other safety-related materials. So we've been able to procure mobile kiosks to allow for student temperature readings when we get to a position where we can open. No-touch thermometers will be provided to all the schools, face masks and face shields, hand sanitizer, building and floor signage, disinfectant, and other things like high-efficiency air filters. So we continue to the journey for procuring those things that are in high demand pretty much everywhere. Now, our front office, our district front office, is open to the public Monday through Thursday from 8 to 12. It's more of in a soft open kind of a style. Now, we are still encouraging for phone calls, setting up of appointments if that's necessary. Ultimately, what we're trying to achieve is that we want to basically model the opening plan for the schools as they come back to plan for the 2021 school year. We also have installed an enrollment drop box in front of CWA for new registration student packets. So if parents want to or don't want to come into the front lobby and interface with the staff, they can drop off those packets in addition to having the online options. So we did install that at the front there. So both CWA and the district front lobby is open to the public from 8 to 12, Monday through Thursday. We are requiring visitors to have their face covers and follow the floor markings to ensure physical distancing. Now, one thing that we are looking at is trying to qualify more schools as community eligible. Now, basically what that is a school that is community eligible and identified as a qualifying school through the National School Lunch Program is basically a 4-year qualification, and what it will do is allow all students on the campus to receive free breakfast and free lunch. So, you know, there isn't going to be a free, reduced, or paid. Basically, everybody at the school site will be able to receive a free meal. Those are for schools that are of higher need. We believe that the economic impact due to the pandemic has allowed some of our schools to qualify under the provision. Right now, we have 10 sites that qualify. We feel that we'll be able to qualify 7 more. Now, under the distance model, we still will provide the grab and go as an option. Now, when we operate under the National School Lunch Program, we might have to tweak the way we provide our services to the public. But in the event that we get to a position where students do return to campus, we hope that we can qualify 7 more schools, which will basically give free meals to all students at those school sites at no charge to them, and basically eliminates all the out-of-pocket costs for all families of those schools. So it's a big step that we are trying, very aggressive, that we're trying to do. Dan Capello, the director of food services, is being very aggressive with that, and his team has been absolutely amazing. So hopefully we can get that processed. One other final thing is the board for tonight will be in further consideration preparing to issue its 3rd and final series of Measure KK. That's the final $50 million. Now, our interest rates have improved, not ours, but the interest rates ultimately have improved since the last presentation. And interest rates are at basically an all-time low. They're right now at around 1.45%. So as responsible for, being good fiscal stewards of local taxpayer dollars. We think that the community gave us the authorization for 225 million. We've issued 75 first series, 100 million second, and now the final 50. And we feel this is a perfect opportunity for us to use the low interest financing to allow for lower costs, basically for our community. So that's it from the business side.
Thank you, Mr. Aquino. We'll move finally over to Personnel Services. Dr. Salazar.
Personnel continues to work with our site principals on staffing for the 2021 school year, and we have 10 remaining vacancies to fill. That's pretty good for this time of year. And we are currently working on MOUs with both DSTA and CSEA to negotiate the various effects that the distance learning model is going to have on the working conditions of our employees. We met with DSTA last Thursday on July 16th. We're scheduled again this Friday, and we have 2 dates coming up with CSEA. That's my report.
Thank you very much. That concludes our updates.
Thank you very much. We have one to be read out loud, but before we do that one, Ms. Trina Gonzalez, DSTA President, wants to have a few words on COVID-19 response update. Yeah, one person, 2 items. Same person. Ms. Leslie?
Good evening. Once again, Trina Gonzalez Alisi, DSTA President. I would like to convey to you the anxiety that our educators are experiencing this summer. Of course, all stakeholder groups are experiencing anxiety. However, DSTA represents the certificated staff, so that's what I'm going to speak to. Today, we held the first of a dozen meetings that we have scheduled for this week for DSTA members. The first, we held 2 meetings today, but we have a dozen scheduled for this week. The first meeting maxed out at 100 participants with about 50 more who wanted to participate. There will be a makeup meeting tomorrow for those who could not get in. The second meeting had 65 attendees. By the way, the meetings are tailored to individual cohorts in our district, such as elementary, middle, high, counselors, ECE, instructional coaches, nurses, among others. It was important to DSTA to have tailored meetings because everyone has unique concerns and issues. Some of the things we talked about were grading policies, what does live interaction mean, what platforms will be used, what trainings will be offered, what kinds of upgrades to technological equipment will be available, what if I get COVID, what kind of leave options are there. These are the things that are running through our teachers' minds all day, and many times these are the issues that wake us up in the middle of the night. There are so many what ifs. I know that everyone, certainly on the cabinet, is working nonstop to get us answers, and I know this is not work that can be done quickly. I want to be able to tell members that collaboration between the district and the association is taking place in a timely manner and in good faith. Let me just stress once again that the anxiety levels are high. I've mentioned before that more communication is always better. Even when there's no new news, regular updates would be appreciated. Thank you.
Melissa, thank you. And I have Ms. Patricia Ryan has 2 items that she wishes to have read here tonight at the meeting. First one is on SROs. As she says, as a teacher of 30 years, I appreciate the SRO officers on DSUSD campuses. I have needed their assistance on a couple of occasions over the years, and I have found them to be professional and very accepting of all students. I feel safer, and I recently had the La Quinta High School SRO assist me at the flag game when a fan went into diabetic shock, and he helped my husband get him out of the stands and call the ambulance. The SRO then explained to fans sitting near the incident to explain what occurred, as the fan parent appeared intoxicated, but it actually was a health emergency. DSTA did not survey their constituents when speaking to you on this matter at a past meeting. I would survey your DSUSD staff and families before releasing any SROs. Thank you for your dedication during this difficult time. And Ms. Ryan also has a second comment on the board vote. Said, thank you, Wendy Jonathan, for voting to maintain control when DSUSD transitions to back to school sites from virtual learning. All of the board members should have voted with you, as you all are our elected officials. The district has not been forthcoming with who is on the reopening committee. The survey didn't include anyone who did not have a Gmail account, and it seems to be resistant to looking at other options. As a board, you should be in charge of that decision. And that ends public comments.
Thank you, Mr. Tomac. We'll now move to board and superintendent comments. Anna Conover.
I had a quick question. Were we going to discuss the updates? Have discussion on the updates? Okay. I had a couple of questions for Dr. May Volmer. Is she there?
Yes, ma'am.
I know you mentioned LPAC testing, and I kind of wanted to know what that was going to look like. I know in the lower grades it is one-on-one. If you could walk me through what those will look like.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, you are correct. There is a one-on-one component to that testing. And certainly this is something that we're trying to work out with all involved. Right now, what we're looking at is students would have an appointment to take that examination. There will be protective equipment for the student and for the staff member. And we have barriers, sneeze guard barriers, very much like the ones that you see in the front entryway to the district office, that will be set up in between the staff member and the student. So that's in addition to that protective equipment that they will be wearing. There is a small area at the bottom of that barrier where items can be passed back and forth as is necessary by the examination process. And so anything else besides that I could offer possibly?
So I know sometimes the districts will use teams to help, especially with kinder, with the incoming kinders. Will this be done by a team, or will they be done by the actual classroom teacher?
So the district does our preference is to use specialists to do this testing so that classroom teachers are not pulled out of that classroom setting. So that certainly is our preference. And we do have a team of people, as we always do, that we are working on training and being prepared to do that work.
Okay, thank you. And also, as far as the training, as let's say if you use Google Classroom, if the whole district uses Google Classroom or whatever platform, will the district make up a video? Because some of the kids, especially the younger ones, and even the parents, a video that would say, here is how to log on, here is how to put in your password, what to click. Is it something that it can be done so that it's available to the parents, English and Spanish? Because for the younger kids, it's the parents that are logging them in. And I mean, this would really...
That's a great question. I really appreciate you bringing that up. And I actually failed to mention that in my explanation. We are not only creating training opportunities for our teachers, we absolutely are creating trainings for our parents. And the type that you described are the types of trainings that we're creating. We've already got, and I believe sent to graphics in order to get the directions for the new tablets, how parents log in, where they find the password, all of that information. In addition to that, we're very aware that we have students around the district that will be in childcare settings. And so we've already had conversations with some of those more substantial childcare facilities, knowing that they may have students from multiple schools around the district. And so we're sharing those directions with them as well to help make that process as easy for the students and for any adult that may be helping them.
I think that's really important to have because, especially for the kinders, TKs, first grade, their parents are the ones that are logging them in. And I also had a question. Thank you, Dr. May Vollmer. I did have a question for Mr. Aquino. You mentioned there was a plan or a model for a soft opening of schools. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
So when I say soft opening, we're taking everything in small steps. We don't want to try to tackle everything at one time. So when I say a small soft opening, right now, if you walk to the front, you'll see just basically the setup. So if someone from the public wants to come to the district office to seek some information or maybe deliver a packet to a department, basically what we're doing is putting up the building signage so people know that they, before they enter, that they'll need to wear a face covering. They'll follow the walking path, and at the front we have a clear space because of the way our lobby is set up. But what we're doing is trying to practice that way we could talk to the schools and at least talk the talk when it comes to what's supposed to happen when someone visits and they have a question about this or a question about that. That way we could basically provides the schools with direction and feedback as to what we've experienced under the soft opening. So under that soft opening, we're not allowing, to limit the spread of COVID, we're not allowing anyone to walk through the facilities. But what happens is if someone has a question with regard to payroll or personnel, the staff member, respective to the visitor and whatever question they have, is meeting that person in the lobby. So when I say it's a soft opening, I mean there's a limited accessibility for the public, which I think is something that we would also implement at the schools. Limit the type of visitation on campus. And we want to make sure that just little simple things that people are following the appropriate the signage, wearing the PPE, and things of that.
Okay, because until we are off the monitoring list, we should try to limit the amount of people that are actually on campus at any given time, for the simple reason that we don't want to be around very many people. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just to reiterate, and we're trying to implement things like we are still accepting packets. Now, we have the online process. There have been, there are some occasions where somebody might not be used to the enrollment online, or maybe they're seeking some kind of guidance or help and they like that face-to-face interaction. So we are providing that service to our community. And if in the event someone wants to drop off a physical packet, because everyone will have their different way to do things, we have put the drop box in the front so they don't have to be in the building. So we're doing everything we can to limit as much as possible, but also provide a service to our community.
Thank you. And kudos on the graduation, the summer school graduation. It was nice. It was the last one of the year. Got to check off all of them. So that was nice to see. It was very well done. Thank you.
Jonathan.
Excellent report from all of you, but I have a quick question, and I don't think it was addressed. What is going on with our early childhood development? I know that according to the governor, that those students can begin going back to school, that they're not held to the same same level as the elementary, middle, and high school students. So what is going on with those students? Is Head Start and the state schools, are they actually going to be opening in August? And how will that look? And what are we doing as far as that's concerned?
Dr. Vollmer, do you want to speak to that?
I would actually, Ms. Jonathan, I certainly can get you information on that and put that in a Friday letter or bring that back. We're still working on plans with those young students.
Yeah, and I would have sent, I apologize, I would normally send you an email about that ahead of time, but all of a sudden as we're talking, I'm thinking, oh, wait a second, what about the early childhood students? So I know that, I think it's a little strange that they're allowed to go back to school, but the others aren't, but that's what the governor has said. So if you can get us that information and then share it out at our next board meeting so the parents can know that as well. But thank you so much. Great report from everybody. And I know you're working diligently on making sure that when we do open up, it will be the safest way possible. And I also know that you're making sure that during our distance education, I'm not even going to say learning, distance education of our students, that it will be as rigorous as being in a classroom. So I appreciate again all your hard work on making sure that all happens. So thank you.
Do you have any additional comments, Mrs. Jonathan?
Nope.
Okay, Mr. Tomac.
No, I have nothing tonight.
Linda Porras.
Are we doing our comments, our board comments, or we're talking about?
We're doing
just
both because I skipped over it. So if you have any questions to the assistant superintendents or Mr. Bailey, or any comments you'd like to make.
Well, no, I just appreciate all of your hard work. You guys just do an excellent job with getting information and giving information. And I just want to also say that I really appreciate our teachers and all of the hard work that they're making for the adjustments and learning for the new way of educating our students. And I just am glad that we are giving them the opportunity to have the very best tools that they need to help them to teach our kids. And anyway, and I also want to thank Dan Capello and his department for providing all of the meals for our students. He just does an excellent job, and I just want to give a shout out to him. And also, I wanted to say that I'm so glad to hear that Laura is doing great and her daughter's doing great. That's really great news. And I just pray that she has a successful healing and gets back to us soon. So thank you so much.
Okay, I don't have any comments or questions. Mr. Bailey.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to recognize that Blanche is back with us, and we're very happy about that. Sorry for your loss, Blanche. On a more lighter side and a happy note, as everyone's indicated, we did hear from Laura Fisher, Assistant Superintendent, Student Support Services, underscoring the fact that we have a tremendous Desert Sands family. As featured on KESQ News, Sarah Fisher, one of our teachers, has given her mother a kidney today. The kidney transplant was extremely successful. Both are recovering very well, and Laura had recovered enough following surgery that she, as Jordan indicated, gave us a voicemail to say hi to everyone. So that's just great news. That's it.
So moving on to general function business services, we'll take 18.1 first. Is there a motion for the appropriation adjustments to reflect the impact of the governor's budget to the district accounts?
So moved.
By Mr. Tomac. Is there a second?
Second by Anna Conover.
Any discussion on this issue? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0. For the following 4 agenda items, the Board of Education will be acting as the legislative body for each of the Desert Sands Unified School District's community facilities districts. These agenda items provide that the individual community facilities districts to authorize the levy of special taxes within the CFD for the fiscal year 2019-2020. Agenda item number 18.2, the Board of Education will be acting as the legislative body for Community Facilities District number 1. The resolution of the Board of resolution number 2, 2021, Resolution of the Board of Education of Desert Sands Unified School District acting as the legislative body of Community Facilities Districts Number 1 of the Desert Sands Unified School District, authorizing the levy of special taxes within Community Facilities District Number 1 for fiscal year 2019-2020. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I move to approve the resolution number 02/2020-2021.
By Wendy Jonathan. Is there a second?
I second, Linda Porras.
Seconded by Linda Porras. Okay, so this is a roll call vote. Anna Conover. Wendy Jonathan.
Aye.
Gary Tomac.
Aye.
Don Griffith. Aye. Linda Porras.
Aye.
Okay, that carries 5-0. Agenda item number 18.3. The Board of Education will be acting as the legislative body of CFD number 2008-1 for this agenda item. Resolution number 3, 2020-2021. Resolution of the Board of Education of the Desert Sands Unified School District acting as the legislative body of Community Facilities Districts number 2008-1 of the Desert Sands Unified School District, authorizing the levy of special taxes within the Community Facilities District number 2008-1 for the fiscal year of 2019-2020. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I move to approve resolution number 03/2020-2021.
By Wendy Jonathan. Is there a second?
I second, Linda Porras.
Okay. This is a roll call vote. Anna Conover. Wendy Jonathan.
Aye.
Gary Tomac.
Aye.
Aye. Linda Porras.
Aye.
That resolution carries 5-0. Agenda item number 18.4, the Board of Education will be acting as the legislative body for CFD number 2013-1 for this agenda item. Resolution number 4, 2020-2021, resolution of the Board of Education of Desert Sands Unified School District acting as the legislative body of Community Facilities District number 2013-1 of the Desert Sands Unified School District, authorizing the levy of special taxes within the Community Facilities District number 2013-1 for fiscal year 2019-2020. Do I have a motion for this resolution?
I move to approve resolution number 04/2020-2021.
I second, Linda Porras.
Okay. This is a roll call vote. Anna Conover. Wendy Jonathan.
Aye.
Gary Tomac.
Aye.
Don Griffith says aye. Linda Porras.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes 5-0. Agenda item number 18.5, the Board of Education will be acting as the legislative body of CFD number 2018-1 for this agenda item. Resolution number 5, 2020-2021, resolution of the Board of Education of the Desert Sands Unified School District acting as the legislative body of Community Facilities District number 2018-1 of the Desert Sands Unified School District, authorizing the levy of special taxes within the Community Facilities District number 2018-1 for the fiscal year 2019 through 2020. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I move to approve resolution number 05/2020-2021.
By Wendy Johnson.
I second.
Seconded
Sorry,
by
second, Linda Porras.
Linda Porras. Okay, roll call vote again. Anna Conover.
Aye.
Jonathan.
Aye.
Gary Tomac.
Aye.
Don Griffith says aye. Linda Porras.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries 5-0. The matters related to CFD number 1, 2008-1, 2013-1, and 2018-1 are complete for this evening. The board will no longer be acting as the legislative body of the districts, community facilities districts for the remaining items on the agenda. The board will now be acting as the Board of Education of Desert Sands Unified School District. So that takes us, I've got to lick my fingers before I can move the pages. We have 3, 18.6 is also a resolution. Okay. Is there a motion to approve resolution number 06-2020-2021, a resolution of the Board of Education of Desert Sands Unified School District, Riverside County, California, authorizing the issuance of Desert Sands Unified School District election of 2018 general obligation bond, Series 2020, and actions related thereto? Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
It says 2014, sorry. It says 2014. Is it supposed to be 18?
That's when the election was. So KK was 2014. And this is the last issuance of 2020.
Yep.
So it was moved by Mr. Tomac. Is there a second? By Anna Conover. Is there any discussion on this? Okay, this is a roll call vote. Anna Conover?
Aye.
Wendy? Gary Tomac?
Aye.
Says aye. Linda Porras?
Aye.
Wendy, are you there?
Yes, aye. You broke out. We couldn't hear anything.
Okay. All right, so that carries 5-0. Okay, 18.7, the naming of Amistad High School Gymnasium, which should say Bob Blenkinsop Gymnasium. Does he want it to be Bob or does he want it to be Robert? Does anybody know?
Yes, this is his preference.
That was his preference, was Bob? Okay. Oh, is that it? Okay, I don't have that for some reason on my notes. Okay, is there a motion to approve the naming of Amistad High School Gymnasium?
So moved, Linda Porras.
By Linda Porras. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Wendy Jonathan.
Is there any discussion on this? Other than Bob's a great guy?
Marvelous gentleman. He did a lot of work at the old campus, and it was nice to see him start the process at the new campus there as well. Glad to see this happen.
Any other discussion?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0, so we got a new gymnasium name. Great. Okay, the last section of 18.8 is amendment number 1 to the contract with Stapleton Enterprises for Division of State Architect Inspection Services for Kennedy Elementary School. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Second. Yes.
Discussion on this? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0. General Function Ed Services, there's 2 items. They're not resolutions. Do we want to take these as a group, or do we want to take these individually?
Move approval of general functions 19.1 and 19.2 as listed on tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Tomac. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on either of these 2 items? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? That carries 5-0. General Function Personnel Services, there are 10 items, 1 through 10. I don't think there's any resolutions. Is there a motion to take these general functions 1 through 10, or would like to take these individually or pick them apart?
Move approval, general functions items 20.1 through 20.10 under personnel services listed under tonight's agenda.
By Mr. Tomac. Is there a second? Second by Anna Conover. Is there any discussion on any of these 10 items?
I just had a question or a comment on 20.1, Declaration of Need for Fully Qualified Educators. I think Dr. Salazar said we only had 10 positions left open to hire. Mr. Bailey?
Yes, that's right, yes.
And so is this the special ed? Is that where we're having a need for qualified teachers?
This is a requirement each year. It's brought to the board, and it's a prediction of areas of high need that are usually hard to fill. And primarily, if we do end up using these, it's in the areas of special ed, math, and science. Okay. So we're just making a guesstimate of what we might need.
Okay.
items? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? That carries 5-0. Moving on to general function student support services. There's one item here, 21.1, agreement number C100774 with Riverside County Superintendent of Schools. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
By Anna Conover. Is there a second?
Second?
By Mr. Tomac. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? That carries. General function superintendent, we don't have any consent items. Student matters, Mr. Bailey.
One item, reference to closed session agenda item 3.1. Tonight in closed session, the board took action to approve the following student matters. Expulsion case number 19/20-86. This was approved on a motion by Mr. Tomac, seconded by Mrs. Conover. The motion carried 5-0.
Consent items, business services. We have 10 items. Is there a motion to take these together, or we'd like to pull them apart?
Move approval, consent items 24.1 through 24.10 as listed under tonight's agenda.
Is there a second?
Second, Linda Porras.
Seconded by Linda Porras. Is there any discussion on any of these items 1 through 10? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? That carries 5-0. Consent items, ed services 1 through 10. Now, 25.1 is a resolution. Do we need to pull that one out and take it individually for a roll call vote? Okay. So resolution number 01/2020-2021, California Department of Education, contract CPKS-0064 for the pre-kindergarten and family literacy program. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved. That is Anna Conover.
Is there a second? By Mr. Tomac. Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Anna Conover?
Aye.
Wendy Jonathan?
Aye.
Gary Tomac?
Aye.
Don Griffith says aye. Linda Porras?
Aye.
Okay, that carries 5-0. So now we have items 2 through 10. Is there a motion to take those together, or do we want to take them separately?
Move approval, consent items under educational services 25.2 through 25.10 as listed under tonight's agenda.
Tomac, is there a second?
Second, by Anna Conover.
Conover. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Carries 5-0. Consent items, personal services, we don't have any. Consent items, student support services, 1 through 21. Is there a motion to take these together or to take these separately?
Move approval, consent items of student support services, items 27.1 through 27.21 as listed under tonight's agenda.
Mr. Tomac, is there a second?
Second, by Anna Conover.
Any discussion on any of these? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Carries 5-0. Personal action item certificated. Is there a motion to approve 29.1, certificated personnel? By Anna Conover. Is there a second?
Second.
By Gary Tomac. Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir. I'd like to acknowledge and commend certificate employee Clifford Smith one of our counselors, currently at Shadow Hills High School, used to be at La Quinta High School, 25 years of service, did a wonderful job. I've known Clifford for a lot of years, and sorry to see him go, but congratulations making it to the finish line. Enjoy your retirement.
Any more discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're having a hard time hearing you. Sorry.
Okay, sorry, I'll try to speak up. All those opposed? Okay, I believe that carries 5-0. Okay, 29.2, California Government Code Section 54953C sub 3 requires an oral summary of the recommendation for a final action on the salaries, salary schedules, and compensation to be paid in the form of fringe benefits to be paid to the local agency executive. It is not clear that this provision applies if we're just extending the length of the contract, but as a precaution, we'll provide an oral summary. Agenda items 29.2, 29.3, 29.4, and 30.2 recommend approval of an agreement to an amendment to an employment agreement for the following administrators: Donna Salazar, Assistant Superintendent of Personnel Services; Laura Fisher, Assistant Superintendent of Student Support Services; Scott L. Bailey, Superintendent of Schools; and Jordan Aquino, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services. The amendments are attached to the board agenda. Each amendment provides for a one-year contract extension through June 30th, 2023. Agenda item 29.4 recommends the approval of an amendment to an employment agreement for the superintendent. The amendment is attached to the board agenda. The amendment provides for a one-year contract extension through June 30th, 2023. Additionally, because the superintendent was not a CalSTRS system prior to 2013, he receives a lesser employment contribution to CalSTRS than would otherwise be the case. The superintendent's employment agreement includes language which offsets the reduction by directing the same amount to the superintendent's 403B retirement account. Based on the formula in the superintendent's existing employment agreement, the amendment identifies the amount of the 403 contribution for the 2020-2021 school year to be $24,502. Okay, so I believe now we could take these 29.2 to 29.4 as a group, or we could take them individually. Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval items 29.2 through 29.4 as listed under tonight's agenda.
Okay, is there a second?
Second by Wendy Jonathan.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? That carries 5-0. Personnel actions classified. Is there a motion to approve 30.1 for classified personnel?
So moved.
By Mr. Tolman. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
We can't hear you.
We keep having a hard time hearing you, Dawn.
All right, I'm sorry. I'll try to speak up. We're on personnel actions 30.1, moved by Mr. Tomac, seconded by Ms. Conover. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. I'd like to acknowledge two retirees of our classified workforce. First, Diana Perez. She's been a paraeducator for the district now for 28 years, and congratulations to making it to the finish line for her. And also Troy Willis. He's been maintenance and operations, temporarily for a number of years, a supervisor here with us in Desert Sands. 28 years in maintenance operations, and good luck to him on his retirement.
Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? That carries 5-0. 30.2, amendment to the employment agreement of the Assistant Superintendent of Business Services. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
By Gary Tomac. Is there a second?
Second, Linda Porras.
Seconded by Linda Porras. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0. Call out of closed session items. Mr. Bailey.
I have several, 7, I believe. We'll start with closed session agenda item 3.3, student support services item. Tonight, listed under closed session 3.3, the board took action to approve a general release and settlement agreement, SSS number 14/2019-2020. This was approved on a motion by Mrs. Conover, seconded by Mr. Tomac. Motion carried 5-0. Now going to closed session agenda item 3.2. Tonight in closed session, the board took action to accept the suspension of certificated employee number 241624, teacher under the progressive disciplinary procedures. This item was approved by on a motion by Mr. Tomac, seconded by Mrs. Conover. Motion carried 5-0. Next, in closed session, the board took action to accept the suspension of classified employee number 219406, bus driver under the progressive disciplinary procedures. This item passed on a motion by Mr. Tomac, seconded by Mrs. Conover. Motion carries 5-0. Next, in closed session, the board took action to accept the suspension of classified employee number 183144, bus driver under the terms of settlement agreement. This item was put forth on a motion by Mr. Tomac, seconded by Mrs. Conover. Motion carried 5-0. Approved. Also in closed session, the board took action to accept the suspension of classified employee number 101636, athletic trainer under the terms of the settlement agreement. This item passed on a motion by Mrs. Conover, seconded by Mr. Tomac, 5-0. Next item, also under 3.2, closed session. The board took action to accept the suspension of classified employee number 236091, bus driver under progressive disciplinary procedures. This was on a motion by Mrs. Conover, seconded by Mr. Tomac. The motion carried 5-0 for approval. And lastly, also under number 3.2 closed session agenda, the board took action to accept the resignation agreement for classified employee number 075707, sprinkler system specialist under the terms of a settlement agreement. This item passed on a motion by Mrs. Conover, seconded by Mr. Tomac. Motion carried 5-0. That concludes my remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Suggestions for future agendas that receive at least 3 votes. Anna Conover.
None.
None. Winnie Jonathan.
I would suggest that when we reach the 14-day period, I would like to see it brought back to our school board and for us to vote at that time to open schools.
I agree.
That's
Number
fine.
4.
Do you want to make it so we'll automatically set a special board meeting on that 14th day?
We can set a formal board meeting, but I also want us to make the vote to actually open the schools. I think that it should be our decision.
All right. So we're going to save some fuel here. So those are 3. Anything else? Mrs. Jonathan, anything else?
No.
Nope. Mr. Tomac?
No, sir.
I have nothing. Mrs. Porras?
No, I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay. Announcements.
No announcements, but I did just want to say thanks to staff for their agility in adjusting to the new way of doing school. I understand it's very stressful for everyone involved.
Yes, thank you so much.
We are not
Thank you
reconvening.
to everyone.
We're not reconvening to open session, so this meeting is adjourned at 8:08.
Very good, sir. Thank you.
I thought we were going to